Hey there, today I've got 5 ideas for you that you can use in your sketchbook with watercolors. Let's go! For the first one, I'm using some washi tape to create a border as I do often in my watercolor sketchbook, and I'm using some masking fluid to create a kind of pattern. It's this kind of grid or mesh pattern, and then I'm letting the masking fluid dry and working on the other page. And this one is very, very simple. It's the most simple of all those ideas, and it's a lot of fun and super relaxing. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm just basically painting circles and then filling them with different kinds of colors and using a lot of water and the wet on wet technique, letting the colors run into each other, letting them do their thing. I'm letting go of control. I'm kind of controlling it, but not 100%. And I think that things like that are so much fun and so relaxing when you watch the watercolors flow, and you don't have to use expensive watercolors for that. The ones that I'm using aren't as expensive and they still flow with the water. You might have to use a little bit more water, and you can let it halfway dry and then add in more water so you get these cool effects. Most of the time when painting, you maybe try to not have those effects, but this time I was really trying to get a lot of water in there, and I really love how this page looks, even if it was so simple to do. And then when the masking fluid on the other side had dried, I started to put in some color on this page, and I used blue tones as well as a little bit of green to just fill this page. And then because the colors ran into the edges of the masking fluid, I tried to get rid of it a little bit with a dry brush so that I wouldn't have those borders, but you can just let it be the way it is. It's up to you. And then I removed the tape and the masking fluid, which is so satisfying if you ask me. And the masking fluid, yeah, it looked so weird when I had removed it. It was, yeah, you'll see it. Yeah, here it is. It looks so funny. And yeah. Then I started to use a white Posca pen, and you can also use any kind of white pen or even a black pen or any color that would be visible on the other. I wanted to say on the blue things, but you could do that in any color. And yeah, I used a white Posca pen to just doodle over top of this, and I didn't do that for all of these tiles, patterns, whatever, because I wanted the pattern of the watercolors to be visible on some of them, and therefore I did it the way I did it. And then I made these white borders on the left page because I thought that it could use a little bit more of structure, and I really like how those two pages came out. It was very easy. This is a perfect idea for any kind of beginner. You can have a lot of fun with this, and you don't have to have a lot of skill to do this. It doesn't have to turn out perfect at all. And then the next one is probably the hardest one of these, but it's not that hard. You can do this as simplified as you want to. I used some ink here. You can use any kind of pen. And I made this greenhouse here, or is this called a greenhouse? I don't know. It's just this glass house with plants in it, and I saw this idea on Pinterest, so it's not my original idea, but I saw it by so many people. I didn't know who deserved the credit for it, so I don't know. And then you could do very simple plants inside this, so they don't have to be complicated at all. I have a tutorial on my channel on how to paint trees if you want to look that one up for that. And I did a similar technique here. I just did the branches first, and then with a lot of dots I put down these leaves, and it wasn't that tricky at all, but you can simplify it even more. So don't pressure yourself into making this perfect. I've seen this with so many different styles on Pinterest, even super, super simplified it with illustrative styles. And then I put a tiny tree on the right side, or is it a bush? We don't know. And some flowers on the left side, and this is the finished page. So I really love this idea, and it's not mine. But yeah. Then on the left page, I did different kinds of suns. Again, this is not my idea. I found this on Pinterest as well. And if you are lacking ideas, I really recommend Pinterest because I find a lot of my ideas there. And yeah, I have some original ideas some of the time. But if I don't have as many ideas as I need for these videos, I will look on Pinterest or Instagram, but mostly Pinterest. And I did different kinds of suns here, and I didn't completely copy the ones that I saw. I just went with it and made up all kinds of suns. I used yellow and orange tones and an orangey red tone, and I just enjoyed the process, didn't put too much pressure on perfection because all those are not perfect. You can see that I didn't try to make even circles because it just doesn't matter. Just enjoy it and put down whatever comes to mind, and don't pressure yourself into making everything look so neat. And while I'm saying this, I'm also saying this to myself. And this is the finished page. And then we're moving on to the last page that I did. And if you don't want to get your fingers dirty, maybe look for a stamp or something, or do this with a brush. But I thought that this was kind of fun to do, to use your finger as a stamp and make fingerprints with watercolors. You could also use the technique, or is this a technique, with acrylics or gouache or whatever, but the way that I did it works best with watercolors, and I did it in this kind of rainbow order. And then I put some doodles on it, and the rainbow order is kind of fitting because it's Pride Month. And yeah, I know it has nothing to do with Pride, but it's Pride Month. And then I did some doodles on it. And when you can't come up with more ideas, just repeat the doodles that you already did. No one will ever notice. And this is the finished page. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please give it a thumbs up. And until next time, goodbye.